The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Because this is unplugged.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad. Welcome to Liberated Sisters. I'm sorry to crack the mic laughing like this, but I'm excited. I have some family literally in the studio today, and so we're going to have a great time. Our guest is Brother Salih Muhammad, director of the Muhammad University of Islam in Los Angeles, and he brought a few students with him. But before that, I want to just pay a little tribute right here, and then we'll go into the Justice Report. We'll be back. So this is my mom, Dora Jane Bob. Her maiden name is Raimi. A lot of people say I look like my mom, but the reason I'm showcasing her photograph today is to say I love you, Mommy, and also happy birthday, meaning today is my big brother Byron Keith Bob's birthday. There's Uncle Byron. That picture, he looks really serious, really mean, but this man is hilarious, and he is now deceased, physically gone, but spirit definitely living on. And so I just wanted to pay tribute today. I always remembered his birthday because it was Halloween, right? The time of Halloween. And if anybody who knows him knows that this Joker is really a hilarious person, a beautiful soul, gave you everything. His last will go to the ends of the earth for you. And so I just thought, although we don't celebrate Halloween, I know that is the trick and prank time of the year, and he definitely did pull a lot of pranks. And so I just wanted to start out the show today in tribute in honor of my brother and my mother, Byron Bob and Dora Bob. So thank you for allowing that. And now let's have the Liberated Sisters Justice Report. This is going to be a great show, y'all. I'm having so much fun. Okay, so thank you. Here's the Liberated Sisters Justice Report. We're coming right out of the Final Call newspaper. The cover story, the lead in today, is by our editor-in-chief, Brother Richard Muhammad, and contributing writer Brian. Thinking about, hey, my brother's name is Brian too, Byron and Brian. Brian Crawford, and it is talking about the mayhem sweeping America. So after nearly a week-long scare that saw a number of explosive devices addressed and mailed to prominent members of the Democratic Party and the media, and some media got 1, 2, 3 packages, I'm hearing. A person allegedly connected to sending the bombs through the mail was arrested in South Florida. That's the lead story at finalcall.com. You can read that. I want to call attention to another story that really is, when I got the news about it, it just broke my heart, and it's happening every day. The calls, there's a lawsuit that is alleging the rape and sodomy, repeated rape and sodomy of an 84-year-old black woman in a nursing home. The calls by state and local elected officials that are seeking oversight in Ferguson. Now, don't forget that. This is in Ferguson, Missouri, where Mike Brown, young 18-year-old Mike Brown, was killed by Officer Darren Wilson. But the calls for immediate and comprehensive reviews of the Christian care home may help others, but it has come too little too late for Dolores Green. She's 84. She has Alzheimer's, dementia. She cannot speak. She's mute. And she just had to lay there and repeatedly take this abuse. And so her attorneys, her family is seeking $1 billion in a lawsuit. And they're saying that's a lot of money, but this is not about money. That the nursing home, the people who own the property and the people who manage the nursing home had a duty to know what was happening and to protect her. And so the daughter was going to take care of her and was finding bruises around her private area. And after she kept complaining and seeing the bruises get worse and worse, she took her to a hospital and they confirmed that she had been repeatedly abused sexually. And so this is in the final call. And we pray for you, Miss Dolores Green, that you can be healed. But just imagine that. So if you have people, your people, in any home, anywhere that's not with you, whether it's there or at a school, for instance, check on your people. Make pop-up visits. But please take care of them. Don't just put them there and think everything is okay. And that statement is definitely not to say that this is what Colette Green did. To the contrary, she checked on her mother profusely, visited her very often, and so our prayers go out to her. That's the Justice Report. You can read more about those two stories and many more at finalcall.com. And now return to the Muhammad University of Islam, Brother Salih Muhammad and a couple of students. He brought 4 students today. Assalamu alaikum. How is everyone?
Good. Fine.
I'm just going to come straight out before we even start because I'm chuckling, and this is why I seem so unprofessional. But let me give you some comments already for you all on Facebook. Tiffany Delane, okay, she was talking about Byron, and so I got you, Tiffany. I'll read some of that in a little bit. Beatrice, Sister Beachy Keaton, you all know Auntie B. She says, "Who is that handsome young man sitting next to you? He. Anyway." This is my son. My son, Mustafa. Yeah, he's always behind the scene here at KPFK, anywhere I'm doing radio, but now he's on camera. So thank you, Brother Salih, for bringing him. This is my nephew, Brother Jamil Muhammad here. And so, Brother Salih is chair of the African Black Coalition. Brother Salih is a top graduate of Berkeley University, but he does much, much, much more. He's a trailblazer. He's a stuff starter. He's an entrepreneur. When I say stuff starter, I'm talking about you brought the minister to Berkeley and shut it down. Brought him to Cal State, Long Beach, shut it down. That's what I mean, a good stuff starter. But Brother Salih and a team of brilliant young people had the gumption, the nerve, the unmitigated gall to think that they could start a school here, and not just any school. They started a Muhammad University of Islam, which is attached to a national, international cadre of schools under the leadership and guidance of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and coming out of the brain of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You did that. by Allah's grace, you and the team, I got that. But what made you decide to do that? Let's start there. And then I'll have you break down more of what MUI is.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much, Sister Charlene, for inviting us out today. It's definitely an honor, and I always enjoy being on your programming. What made us decide to start an MUI? For me, I had some political and economic observations of our collective means of engagement with the systems or the powers that be. And my observation and assessment is that, we just have a lot of talking, a lot of conversation, a lot of theorizing, a lot of analyzing about what's wrong with white institutions, what's wrong with white America, what's wrong with the public schools, what's wrong with wealth inequality, right? So we have all these points of analysis about what's wrong, and too few of us are doing what is right. And what is clear is that establishing or working to maintain or infiltrate or however we justify working within white structures and institutions, what's clear is that it doesn't work, right?
That's right.
Functionally, for the mass of our people, it just really doesn't work. It might work for a few of us where we have some personal income growth. But even that income growth isn't transgenerational, right? So it's not like we don't have results, right?
Yeah.
And my observation was that of all the folks that I knew, right, coming from a college like Cal and knowing students or former students throughout the UC system and CSU system, right, all the black folks that I know with degrees and with masters and PhDs, folks that have studied education for literally 15, 20 years, and we don't have no schools.
Wow.
And it's like, with all the education that we have, what have we done to establish a better opportunity for our children? And that was the void that we saw, right? The void was, it's nice to talk liberation, right? And it's even in our current context, even somewhat sexy, right? It's appealing, right? To talk liberation and justice and social justice and all this kind of jazz, right?
Right.
But it's a lot harder to build an institution that will outlast your word.
Come on.
Right? And so I think that our vantage point was that if we're going to be serious about nation building and about working to put our people in a better position and a better condition, we can't really do that if we are not building institutions. Like, bottom line, right? And so we thought that we could build an institution where we could cater and culture our children to really not graduate and get a degree, right? And that's the way our institutions, even the institutions that we have been established. You graduate, get your degree, go to college, and then get a good job, right? And that's just woefully insufficient for the larger condition of the people, right? The condition of the people doesn't demand more degrees. Almost literally 25% of our community has college, at least a bachelor's, So this isn't sufficient, right? We need to connect and that intellectual capacity with real struggle and real work. And my notion is that it's a lot harder to do that after somebody has bought into the idea of America and the American dream for 25 years or 20 years. They get to college, they might have a Black Studies class that's pseudo-revolutionary at best. And it's a lot harder to go from there and bring somebody in that situation to wanting to establish a school, to wanting to sacrifice the dream that they had, that they cultivated for 20-some-odd years. Frederick Douglass said, it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men.
Come on.
Right? And so our notion was that we could be more effective and efficient in planning for the future of our immediate community if we can take who we can, right? And from a young age, we can build them up into the kind of revolutionaries and nation builders that we know that our community needs. And then it isn't so much, or I hope, that young people will be willing to sacrifice the dreams of their fathers, to use Obama's term, right? The dream of integration, the dream of, a good quality of life for myself and my family, the dream of a 401k, the dream of managing various white institutions, right? Getting them to sacrifice that is a challenge. It's honestly a challenge. And
Wow.
and lastly, my last piece on this is, I'm a nationalist in many ways, right? I believe
Sure enough.
we need some land, right? With Black people, we need land, we need ownership, we need institutions that we control, that's under our systems.
That's right.
And what I felt was that as a conscious community, we haven't built institutions that are reflective of the words that come out of our mouths. So we say the white man's school is this and that, and we say, well, you got to stop eating this and that, but we haven't built the grocery stores. We haven't built the schools. We haven't built the hospitals. We haven't built an example to the people of what this philosophy and approach in life means in like real material terms, right? We haven't done that. And as a consequence of not doing that, right, we can't fully fault folks for not being willing to sacrifice their dream or the dream of their father for integration if we haven't shown them what doing for ourselves can actually look like.
Right.
That it can work. It is doable. Like, it's not just a fictive imagination, right? It's something that can be done. And I think that's probably the last thing that really inspired me or inspired us to do it was that we had an opportunity to make an example of what nation building and collective economics and unity looks like, not in theory, not from our tongues, but by the work that we do with our hands.
Yeah. I think that's phenomenal, Brother Salih. And it didn't take, I mean, you just had all of that in your soul and you moved out on it. You know, some people don't realize dreams are goals like this. This is major. This is heavy. This is young minds. I called the show today Bold, Beautiful, and Black. Young, Black, and Beautiful, right? Because this is something you're doing in your youth. You know, in your youth, not when you're 50, 60, and that's okay. That's really good. 70, and that's young, let's be honest. But I'm just saying that you're able to relate to them as a parent. Like, I'm going to tell you, I thank Allah for you. Thank Allah for your wife, Sister Jalila. The whole team. There's a team, y'all. I mean, if we just there's a picture. Go to Facebook and see these young people. I'm like, who's the student and who's the administrators here? Because you all can relate to them. So you have that adulthood and that seasoned ability, but you also are not so far gone where it's really just old school. Like, there's some great things about old school teaching, but there's also a lot of things that we were taught and the way we were taught that really need to be dumped in the trash can. And so I appreciate the sacrifice personally, myself and my husband, that you all have made, because a lot of us and some of my sister friends, we would cry, literally cry, because we were working and doing different things and hadn't yet realized that we just need to stop all this working outside of the home, do for self, and homeschool until we can get to that place. And we would pray and cry. We want an MUI. We want an MUI, because we've had a couple and, you know, the people have had to move on. And so we didn't know ourselves how to pick up and do that. We talked about it, but we didn't go beyond praying and crying about it. And then they came along and they picked up that mantle. And we always knew that if it was going to be done, it would have to be done by the parents. Parents, we have to answer the need of our children. And if there's not a structure, right, that's doing it, we had to do it. We must do it. And we did. Brother Jamil, he's my nephew in the middle. His mother and I, we started homeschooling. First, we started homeschooling with different online programs. I would get the books on history. I would turn to slavery. I would look at what they're saying about slavery. And did I do it? I flung the book across the room. And I said, that's it. That's it. If this is in the history book, then the whole program is not right. And I kept them and homeschooled them. And, of course, Akila, my daughter, she went off to San Jose State, and then she came back, and she's here locally going to school and teaching at the school.
She is.
Yeah, she teaches science and what else?
Yeah, she's a great teacher, too. She teaches chemistry and she's high school chemistry. And I think she teaches middle school chemistry, too.
Yeah, so she's at the school, and he's attending the school, and it's just a mother's greatest joy. And I thank Allah for Minister Farrakhan for, he rebuilt the nation. he and his family, Mother Khadijah, and this is what we're getting out of it. Brother Salih, before we ask them to speak a little bit, and then we'll see a promo from MUI Camp, but I wanted to, let me close this. I wanted to say thank you personally. Thank you. I taught at the school a little bit. I was like, I can't.
She did. She was great also. She was great also.
But so I touched on it a little bit. But what is Muhammad University of Islam exactly? Break it down for those who are interested.
Muhammad University of Islam was established in 1931 by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and it was established to give black children an opportunity to have access to the quality of education that they need and deserve in order to be fully justified and equitable in life. So it was established in the early 30s amid quite a bit of difficulty, particularly because the state of Michigan at that time thought it to be illegal for black people to teach their own children. So a lot of folks don't know this, but independent education in America has a very real debt to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for establishing MUI, because outside of Catholic schools, there weren't really independent schools at all.
None.
And much less independent black schools. So to this day, in MUI, our baseline philosophy is that we're not seeking merely to prepare children for a degree so that they can be members, be average members in white society. We're seeking to prepare black children to be the best at life that they can possibly be.
Yeah.
And that's a very huge distinction, because it ridiculously broadens the span of thinking, the viewpoint that we have in our approach to education, right?
That's right.
So instead of everything being catered to how this will impact your chance of going to college, right?
That's right.
Everything's catered to how will this impact your chance of being successful in life and making a return to the community on the investment that your parents and your families and us as teachers are making in putting you into college, right?
Yeah.
So what we see now is that we're sending our children off to college, and it costs us like a material cost, in dollars, right?
Yeah.
It costs us real dollars, particularly in terms of the loans, et cetera, right?
That's right.
And it costs us in terms of real dollars to get them at a place where they can be qualified to enter college.
That's right.
It costs real dollars. And
Crazy.
it also costs time.
Yeah.
And we're not at large getting a return on the investment that our communities are making into our young people. And I believe that's because we have some very fundamental flaws and holes in what we're teaching them. We're not teaching them the kind of science of knowledge that would provide them the opportunity to really be able to be a nation builder, right?
Yeah.
Most college students, the average college student is leaving with a ton of debt. Because nobody talked to them about it before.
Yeah.
Nobody's teaching young black people about debt, about credit, about finance, right? Nobody's teaching about how to handle racism, right? And these, when we look at the reasons that black students aren't matriculating through college, right, aren't being retained, right, we find these are significant factors. They don't know how to handle the campus climate. They don't know how to handle the racist professor. They don't know how to handle the steep gradient of learning that might be ridiculous coming from high schools that just are not preparing them to enter into some of these colleges, right? And so our real goal and philosophy is yes, college is good, theoretically, right? But
go to college.
It's not sufficient. It's not sufficient, and in the time that our children are with us at school, we literally have more time with them than most other entities, and
including parents. You got them.
Yeah, and so my notion is we need to maximize upon this opportunity, and really see what we can build with them right now, and for the future.
That's right. You have these young minds. They're ready. They're fast. They're bright. They're brilliant, and they can absorb and they can put it out. And you're right, Brother Salih. I'm going to speak personally as a parent. Like, our daughter got recruited, went to San Jose State. It was great. She got there. She was doing great, and she called me one day, Akila, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but it's going on. And she did not like it. She was very excited. I mean, they wrapped their arms around her. There was a program. I just remember a balloon that said 30, and I was like, what is all this? And they took a percentage of the student body that was coming in, and they had a retention program day one moving in, to say they want to keep you here. They, put her in a cohort, whatever it was. But then she started seeing games. You know, she started seeing what we're taught about, that college game, this money game, and, you know, all the different programs. They started saying that incoming freshmen had to take certain programs and pay for them, and they would not be part of the credit. And when she looked at her goal, and she looked at how much time she thought she'd have to be there, and saw that these were not even courses related to what she needed, she said, I don't want to do this. And I was like,
foolish.
yay!
It's foolishness, yeah.
Come back home. Run. And she was saying, well, I'll finish out the semester. But that was a narrative that others were being told. And I'm like, you don't have to finish something that's not working. If you don't like it, you don't have to finish it. And some people thought that I was allowing her to wiggle out and quit. No. You have to be able to determine. You keep moving, you shifting. And look, as we continue, the number to call in and weigh in, if you have MUIs across the country, how are you doing? Talk to these young men. It's 323-293-3375. But she came back and she's thriving and she's still in school and she's giving to her community. And that's what I love about it. And she's happy, by the way. You know, she's happy.
Wins.
Wins. And so speaking on this, being able to handle college, you know, I would always tell her, the society says you're an adult when you turn 18, but do not go for the okie doke. You know, you're growing, you're developing, but it's just enough adulthood to let you get in trouble, right? And look, we have a sister, Halima Muhammad, who went to Kent State, I think it is. She's a fashion designer. This girl was putting out work beforehand. I'm looking at the design she's making, our young sister. But she opened up October 8th about dealing with anxiety, and she chose to leave college for a semester, and her mental health was being impacted. But what I was hearing in her videos, and it's online, Halima, Halima Muhammad, what I was hearing her say, I heard a recurring thread, and it was her instructor. You've been here 5 weeks. You haven't anything to show for it. And I'm looking at her designs like she can show this. She can sell this right now. She's changing the game in the industry right now with all of her beautiful designs. And she just literally had a meltdown, and she's opening up about it. And to see her go through that, I was pained. My daughter and I watched it, and we prayed for her. And we salute you, sister, because other people are struggling with this. Like, our children go to college, and this world says that what, Sully? You can go and that's where you find yourself. And they wild out and they go buck wild.
The problem is college, it costs too much to find yourself in college.
You can find yourself for free in the back room.
It costs too much, right? The average college student is walking away with $30,000 in loans.
Hello.
Which after interest, you're paying money to a government or to a private lender for at least 10 to 15 years. If you're able to find a job immediately after, right? So it costs too much to find yourself in college. Wow. That is a mistake.
Yeah.
We need to be pushing our children to mature a little bit faster so that by the time they get to college, right, college can be a meaningful investment.
That's right.
Otherwise, it's not a good investment, right? It's not a good investment. For example,
come on.
My major was crap, right? I had
what
a
was
terrible
your major anyway?
I wouldn't even repeat it on there. My major was terrible, right? It wasn't a worthwhile for the academic
you just wanted to get in and
benefit,
get out.
right? It wasn't particularly worthwhile.
I can't believe that, Sully. I think you're not telling me the truth right now.
I am telling you the truth. I chose a easy major because my time was spent like organizing and like doing community work and whatnot.
I understand.
I would do that differently if I could do it again.
Yeah.
But you know,
call your mama.
I do think that is something that happens frequently, right?
Yeah,
that young folks choose political science, sociology,
psychology,
these random majors that don't have. You're not going to walk away from the institution with a meaningful asset, right? I believe in the investments in assets. They're learning about assets, right?
Okay, good. We about to find out.
Your mind or skill is an asset.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when they're leaving colleges, we're not leaving colleges with solid skills, right? We're leaving with theoretical things, right?
That's right.
Now, I do think there is some benefit to certain parts, right? So there's some benefit to just being able to endure 4 years of foolishness, right? There's some benefit of being able to discipline yourself to like certain structures, right? Because all throughout life, you will always be encountering various forms of structure and like that's true.
Yeah.
But I just think we need a much different approach. We need to start younger, and we need to do more younger. There's no reason that our 7-year-olds and our 8-year-olds shouldn't be in the mindset of thinking about nation building, what that looks like, how to do it, and how they're going to get there.
Yeah.
If they're not doing that, it's not their fault. It's our fault as parents, as elders, and as educators, because we're not providing them the tools, the environment, and the things necessary in order to get there. That's on us.
Come on, that's
on us. We need a generation that can build a nation for us, right? It's not going to happen magically. I'm a firm believer in that, right? I'm a firm believer. If we're going to have a nation built for us, it's going to happen through real, tangible, intentional skill development, tangible, intentional planning and development, right? It's not going to happen magically, right?
That's right.
And that's why we need schools.
Yeah, we have to roll up our sleeves. Go ahead.
Speaking of schools,
and we're going to come to a Camp Muhammad video real soon to show you a lot more of what they're doing beyond the classroom. But it's all learning. Go ahead.
We got the young brothers, Jamil and Mustafa, over here. Please tell us about yourselves, brothers. How old are you? What grade you in? What's your favorite class?
That's Jamil.
Jamil, I'm 15 years old.
Jamil.
My favorite class would probably be like karate. Like we do jujitsu, boxing, and kempo.
My name is Mustafa. I'm 15 as well, and my favorite class honestly has to be history.
My brother's a scholar. They're both scholars. They're definitely two of our sharpest students. So Jamil, they take mixed martial arts because we do believe in self defense. And self defense is not only good for being in shape and whatnot, which also something that if you start young, you're more likely to continue it as you get older. You know, but it's also good because it helps them to instill discipline. And Mustafa's in history class, so I'm gonna put you on the spot. Can Jamil or Mustafa, what are y'all learning in history class right now?
We're learning about institutional racism, how to acquire wealth, and how people get in debt.
Okay. Well, what is institutional racism?
Institutional racism is basically, it's like a system of oppression. It's systematic oppression, basically. It's meant to favor one at the expense of another.
Okay.
So, like, this happens naturally. It happens naturally.
All right, Mustafa, tell me more. What is institutional racism?
I mean, I was going to say what he said, honestly. But look, it's, in short, pretty much, it's like, for example, like, an example of institutional racism could be like, the fact that majority of black children go to high poverty schools. It's like they can't afford the best education. They aren't being taught well. They aren't being taught their own history, especially in history. They're not being taught well at all. But yeah.
Okay, what's the difference between institutional racism and like overt racism?
Overt racism, I believe, like overt racism is like out more, or inside more. But overt racism is like just blatant racism that's just being shown. But institutional racism is like like governmental, or it's like being kept a secret. Okay.
You want to add to that, Jamil?
Institutional racism? Well, what he means, like, covert racism. Like, covert racism is not openly displayed. You know? Like, overt racism is displayed. That's like Trump using a racial slur at somebody. But covert racism is something more dangerous. Like, Mirza Farrakhan uses Hillary. He says Hillary Clinton won't tell you what she plans to do, but Donald Trump will say it to your face. Those are two examples.
Good. Very good example. And how does this impact wealth? Or what is wealth?
Wealth is like assets. When you gain wealth, you have assets that earn you money.
Okay. And how does racism impact our ability to accumulate wealth?
Well, institutional racism in particular affects it because institutional racism, as I said before, like, it puts people at a disadvantage. So, like, black people, they go to different schools, learn different education, and, like, a lot of black people drop out of schools, so, like, they're, like, put at a disadvantage where some of them don't go to college. Like, white people have they have more of an advantage, I say.
Okay. Mustafa? How do most American families get wealth?
Most American families get wealth, honestly, from the white man. especially the black man.
Okay, what asset though?
What asset? What asset?
Yeah, what asset do most families get wealth from?
Usually, like, I don't really know.
You better know. Jimmy, you know?
You said what?
What asset do most families get their wealth from?
A house.
Good. Right? So the biggest asset most families have is a house, right? All right. So why don't black people have houses? What's the barrier there? What's happening?
What's happening?
Or what has happened?
What has happened? Redlining
And housing segregation.
Housing segregation.
Good. And so what does that mean for our money, for our assets?
Our assets, like, redlining is like, we can't get a loan, we can't get insurance. Like, it makes it harder for us to, like, actually pay for a house. Like, they're decliners.
Good. So let's talk about assets. What should an asset do for you?
Make you money.
Earn you money, yeah.
So give me an example of an asset.
Gold.
All right, so how's gold an asset?
Because over time it builds your money up and it gains more worth.
Okay. Good. What's another one?
This is one I use in one of my essays. Like, say you're an NBA business owner, LeBron James will be an asset because he brings money into the business.
Okay. All right. Good.
Look
So
at
y'all just made some money.
Whoa.
Working. Yeah, they just made some money. What y'all gonna do with your money? Well, I know you already spent some of it.
Moosey giving his to mom.
I didn't spend that.
I ain't spend
You
money.
spend that? Oh, good. So what y'all gonna do with it?
I'm gonna put it into some silver. And
Good.
save it.
Some silver, some ounces of silver. Why silver?
Because it's affordable, especially for me since I'm only 15. But I can save it over time and it'll gain more worth.
Very good. So what I'm saying to Charlene is, imagine
Great.
if black children at 10 years old, at 11 years old, understood how to accumulate like real like assets and wealth and money, and just at least had a concept of it,
That's
right?
right.
Had an idea of credit, right? Had an idea. I mean, had an
This is
idea
phenomenal.
of appreciating values,
Yeah.
right? Had an idea of investments. Had an
Yeah.
idea of how to start a business, right?
Yeah.
Then by the time they're 25 and 30, instead of hitting 30 years old and 40 years old and having a midlife crisis that says, because black midlife crises are different from white.
It's
black
a real
midlife
crisis.
I'm 40 and I don't have any money.
That's right.
Right? I'm 40 and I don't have a job. Right? I'm 40. I don't know it. I've never heard of net worth,
Right,
much
right.
less know that I have a negative net worth. Right?
Real bad.
So imagine, just at a young age, being able to at least develop some ideas to be able to understand
Yeah.
basic stuff like money, right?
Yeah.
Or race, right?
Because they relate.
Because they relate heavily, right? So I can go to college students right now and have to have discussions around whether or not black people can be racist. And they can answer that question.
Good.
In the 9th grade, in the 10th grade, in the 6th grade. Why is that important? Because I can tell you without doubt that as they get older, somebody's going to come to them and tell them, oh, you're a racist black person because you think black people should build independent institutions, right? And we're the only people who allow these kind of challenges to go by unchecked. Because we don't know how to check them, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll let somebody
Come
come in
on.
and tell us that we can't set up an all-black grocery store, right? When you can go to every other community and you can have every other ethnic enclave of grocery store.
That's right.
We're the only ones that will look at that for ourselves and say, oh, maybe it shouldn't be all black. Maybe we should make sure we include everybody else.
Yeah.
Nobody else is trying to include us, right?
Yeah.
And it's because
Come on.
we're not only we don't have these conversations, we don't have any teachings on this, we don't have any lessons. There's no collective agreement. There's nothing, right? And so
Survival mode.
we just going however the wind blows, and it's a terrible way to proceed,
We're just in survival mode. Okay. I'm so proud of you all. I'm really proud of you because I know this brother right here, Brother Salih, does not play about his education. Nothing he touches. He doesn't play about it. He's very, I don't want to use the word strict, determined to give to them.
Am I strict, y'all?
Yeah.
I don't use the word strict because you know why? Because as a former homeschooling mother, I prayed for that type of male education influence in his life, and I've seen the difference, Brother Salih. And I would always say, and his mother as well, we happily pass them over there.
They do.
We struggle. We would drive miles and miles and miles and do whatever we needed to do, but it was important for us to turn over to him minds that, and LaWanda, I don't want to speak for you, but I know this is what we shared. We turned over to them minds that he could mold, little people that he could do something with. And they hadn't gone through all of what we see our babies go through, that we don't like, the bullying. But not only from student to student, from teacher to student. This grown folks at schools is handling and mishandling our children. And I read a report. I heard a report today that 1,000 students in a year, had been arrested. And the biggest thing was discipline. So we're going to go ahead and play Camp Muhammad. We do have a caller. Stay there. I want to show this promo. We have 2 more dynamic students. We're going to switch out, and we'll be right back. This is Liberated Sisters. Stay tuned.
So we took a bunch of students from South Central, Compton, Long Beach, and Oakland to the mountains. The first day we got there, some white people in the cabin next door to our camp hung up a noose. This was to put fear in children as young as 6, but it served as a reminder of why we're up here. Black excellence. It's only excellence. But when you add the word black, that means an unnatural amount of resistance, opposition, opposing forces that either make you or break you. It's like we live on the defense. But what if we made a generation that knew that they were great? I'm talking unapologetically black, constantly training and conditioning themselves to meet and overcome all obstacles in their path. With an understanding of money, power, love, and unity. Oh yeah, we made them take that noose down.
I love that promo. I absolutely love it. That promo was put together by Brother Marquise Muhammad and
Sister Nilam.
Sister Nilam. Oh, and shout out Sister Nilam Hakeem. We'll be coming with her at some point. Brother Marquise is going to make her available, but she's blowing up the spot. Thank you for I'll Be the King. So now we have a call. We're going to take a call, and then we're going to come to these next 2 young men. Caller, thank you.
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you all doing? You look so beautiful. Oh, my goodness. This is my favorite show. I'm not just calling today. I call every week.
Praise
not
be.
Not just because Nephew Charlene is on and Lucy is still. I call every week because this is my favorite weekly show. This is the only show I watch in the week, right?
Thank you.
But I just want to say that I know that Muhammad University is the best school on the planet. When I moved up to the Bay Area in 2000, I was in Antioch. I did all I could to get to near Oakland so my son could go to Muhammad University of Islam.
That's right.
And I love the school, and I thank the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad because I already know that I have given my son the absolutely best that life has to offer for him to put that foundation in him. Now, how you use it, it's there.
That's right.
And some use it right away, and some it lingers, and then they come back to it. At the end of the day, you're going to come back to it because it's truth and light. And so, I'm very proud of my son. I wish he was a minister in the nation right now, but hey, like all people want their children to be godly, right? So it's still time, right?
Yeah.
He's only 23.
He coming.
But I believe that. I know that what I was blessed to sacrifice his father and I to give him. If I never give him anything else in life, I gave him Muhammad University of Islam.
That's right.
Really that's right. Thank you.
I implore all mothers and fathers, put your children there. That's the best they're going to ever get. The best on the planet. Point blank, period. And I used to substitute sometime at Muhammad University. That's right. So, and Salih is just the way he is now is how he was. He was 9 and 10 years old.
Always grown.
Straight soldier. Right. Straight soldier.
That's right.
So,
now that's real. Yeah. Thank you.
Muhammad University of Islam.
That's right. Alhamdulillah. Thank you. That's Sister Beatrice X. And thank you. Give Uncle Bobby the greetings. And she does tune in.
Ma'am.
She does. And we appreciate that.
As it should be.
Yeah. And especially for today, because this is, we must celebrate youth. We must put them in front. Brother Salih, who do we have here?
Go ahead and introduce yourself, young man.
I'm James. I'm 13 years old.
Wow.
What grade you in, sir?
And I'm in 9th grade.
All right.
My name is Brother Dorian. I am 15 years old, and I'm in the 10th grade.
Praise be to Allah. Brother Salih, I'm going to ask you this question, and then let's dialogue with them. You lead that charge. But Is MUI only for Muslim students who are registered in the Nation of Islam under the guidance of Minister Farrakhan?
Not at all. Not at all. We believe that every child has the capacity to be God, and so we will take. We'll take children as they are. They may not be able to stay as they are. We certainly have expectations for growth and development. But yeah, we'll take children as they are. In fact, both of these two young men, both came to us from public schools.
Oh wow!
Dorian, what school did you go to, brother?
I went to Fauché.
Where else you go to, Dorian?
Fauché Learning Center.
Also,
if you don't know Fauché, Fauché is
Fauché.
Yeah. Where else you go, Dorian?
KIP.
Mm-hmm.
And LA Academy Middle School.
So, Brother Dorian, he had been around the block a few times.
You traveled.
he traveled a little bit. And James?
I really came from San Antonio, Texas to here. But the school I went to out there, it was called Driscoll Middle School.
Good. And can either you tell us what's the difference between going to like MUI and they're not coached, by the way, but what's the difference between going to MUI? But you better not say the wrong answer. Jokes. What's the difference between MUI and like the schools you went to before?
The learning system.
What does that mean?
At MUI, they teach you more about your history, who you are, and at public school, they only teach you a small percentage of Black people and their history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, why is that important to you?
It's important to know your background, your history, and what your people have done in order for you to be free, have freedom.
Okay.
Like what they went through.
Okay. What are some other differences?
The fact that since this MUI is like sort of just starting out, since there's less kids here, the teachers are like more. They can focus more on the children there, and when you go to public school, they can't really focus on one child in particular.
Yeah, so adults call that teacher-to-student ratio.
Yeah, and by the way, when did we open? Because this is brand new. We're in our second
2
year.
years in, yeah.
This is a very budding school. Go ahead, Vasily.
What else, Dorian or James? What's the differences?
The teachers don't care.
In public schools?
Yeah.
I'm like, where we go?
What makes you say that? Or why do you say teachers in public schools don't care?
For example, at MUI, you do something wrong, they're gonna discipline you and teach you what they're gonna teach you what and what not to do, how to solve those problems, how to fix those solutions. Public schools, they don't care.
What do they do in public school if you do something wrong?
Kick you out of the
Call a
classroom.
cop.
They kick you out?
Yeah, they're gonna keep going.
They will kick you out. This is true. What else?
They're going to call the cops today.
What about like regular classes like math or like English? Like what's the difference between like a math or English class in MUI?
Oh, they like in the public school, they don't really excel that much in one subject, but when you go to MUI, we excel like it's more in depth, like it's more of a challenge for some students.
The work is harder?
For me, it is. But I try to.
Me too.
Even though it's hard, I still try to do it and get better at it every time I do.
Is it harder for you, Dorian?
No, it's not.
It's not hard.
I mean, we learned a lot of different stuff, but I'm pretty good at math.
Oh,
so
you just got it right here. Huh?
But yeah, in public schools, they teach you the same thing every year. Every year, it's the same thing.
What about the amount of work? Are you doing more work or less work?
At MUI, more.
Yeah.
A lot more.
A lot more?
Yes.
You happy with the amount of work you get?
It's
Spill it. Spill the beans.
It's more.
It's a lot, but it helps me, have a build a harder work ethic.
Good.
That's real.
Good.
I've seen that. This child almost transformed. And I was really feeling bad a lot of days, like, man, I must have been a failure. But like, remember, I was like, oh, my Charlene, watch out for this. But just the whole transformation, even physically.
Physically and mentally, huh?
Even physically.
Yeah.
Because homeschooling, him, my daughter, we all just gained because we're just there. It's different learning from couch to table.
He almost look like a man now.
Oh, you talking out there. But go ahead. This is their time. And then we're going to, before we close, we'll play a national video. Oh, we have a call. But go ahead, Brother Sullivan.
Okay. You can take a call whenever you're ready.
All right. We're ready for the call. Thanks for calling Liberated Sisters.
Oh, thank you. This is Brother Assad. Assalamu alaikum, family.
Wa alaikum salam.
This is Brother Assad in Columbus, Ohio.
Allahu Akbar.
Yes. And I was just listening, and I kept trying to call in, so I was struggling, and I missed some of the show. But I just want to applaud you. And then I saw the whole camp thing, and I'm just loving all this. And I just want to tell you, after 35 years of young people in action, we've been around working with young people. You were talking about young people going to college and the successes and the kind of pitfalls and things that they need to learn. And it is so true. My daughter went to university in Bowling Green, Ohio. Bright mind, everything. She ended up getting raped at the campus, and they try to push it under the rug and all that. There's a lot of social challenges on these campuses, and if we don't have the support, and she had the support, but it still messed with her, you know what I mean? And so there's a lot of challenges that they're facing, and I didn't want to gloom it up, but I just want to be real about things that happen. And then the other part that you all were talking about like, do you go to college or not? And there's so many fields out here, and we're doing it right here in Columbus, Ohio, through the hub, that our organization, where we're getting people trained in other areas where college may not be necessary. But a lot of people don't know that, so they go in and they get this big bill, and then they come back out and they can't find a job.
Big bill.
And so big bill, right? So I just really wanted to just say those couple of things and just to tell you how much I really appreciate it. And I tell you, it was I was fighting back tears because when I see young people like y'all doing this, oh my God, it's like we talk about being able to die easy.
Yeah, come on.
I know that what was given to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is right and exact. And our young people today, they talk about how gloomy it is and black youth do this. And I said, you know what? We can talk about that, but that's not really true. Most students, and I've been around the country and the world, most students that I went to see wanted to graduate, wanted to go to college, wanted to do something, but we focus so much on the negative that the ones who are really kicking butt doing things don't get the attention. We don't take them out. We say, I got something for you, you little bad kids. That's what they say.
Yeah.
But I loved it. And I'm a country boy. So when I saw y'all crawling through that water and all that, man, listen, I do that. So I'm just in love with y'all. I just wanted to say that. And I've never called into the show before, but sister, no, I love her and the work that she's doing. So alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much, brother, for tuning in. And thank you for taking the time to call. And our prayers go out to you, your family, and your daughter. Brother Salih, one thing he touched on is very correct. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches is that our girls, that's where we lose our virtue when we hit these college campuses. We're told, there's just so much on the campuses, but we have to nurture and, as you said, make people ready for that. There's great good in college, but it's a pitfall if you don't know what you're doing and how to get there and get around it. And they will take your money. And I'm not lying. I was happy.
They will take your money for sure.
I was happy. That was a secondary factor. When my daughter said, I want to make a switch, I was like, move it out. Let's go. I was mad when she decided to go. But it was her decision, Yeah, go ahead.
Dorian, tell us, what do you want to do once you're done with school? What's your plans?
The main thing I wanted to own a car dealership because of my father. My father, he buys and sells cars, and I thought it was very interesting. So I wanted to follow in that path.
Okay. What do you know about car dealerships at this point then?
I don't know a lot.
What do you know?
Okay. They park the cars on the lot.
I don't really know much. All I know is that my dad, he just goes to auctions. Mm-hmm. He bids on the car, and if he sees the cars he wants, he buys it. And
okay.
He would
so you know how to get the car?
Yes. He he fixes it up. He and sells it for a
Okay.
larger price. But my father, he told me that I should go to college. I don't remember exactly for. He said I should go to college. So if I wanted to, I don't know what major it is, but so I can. It wouldn't cost me extra money in order to rebuild the car. I can do it myself.
Oh, like engineering.
Wow.
Yeah, engineering.
That's awesome.
And I wouldn't have to pay for it. And it would make me a larger profit.
Awesome.
That profits. What about you, James? What's your plan, sir?
I really want to be an entrepreneur and like have my own land so I could do more than what other people already are doing right now. Like just excel farther than other entrepreneurs and show that I could do better.
Yeah, you know, the minister teaches us that business is the science of the activity of life. You know, the science of being busy, and one of the things we definitely have to do a better job with our children as a community is pushing our children toward business. Right? I think sometimes we have this fear of business and this fear of handling money, and it's unfortunate because in real life. Either you will handle money or money will handle you, right? Like in real life, we have to make sure that our children are being developed to be skilled experts in business and finance, you know? That's just said business was one of the sciences that the enemy decided to never teach the slave, right? Because when you are in business, you are in the life of productivity, you know? And we have to do a much better job with that as a community. Anything y'all want to say? How's school going?
School,
and then we'll take a call. But go ahead.
School, it's fine now.
It's fine now.
It's better than how it used to be at old schools.
Okay. What's the hardest part of MUI?
The homework.
The homework.
Yeah.
What's the best part?
The best part is that feeling I get when I pass a test. When I get a high grade, it feels good.
Come on.
What about you, James?
It's good because it's a new experience for me, and I feel like when I was going to public school, like I'll get compliments like, "Oh, good job," but I never really felt that I was, doing that good. And now that I'm going to MUI, I feel like it's more of a challenge for me, in that I'm more comfortable being with my own people. Like more of my own people.
Now, I would say this to parents and educators out there. Children have a phenomenal ability to meet the mark.
Come on.
It's absolutely phenomenal to me. If I take a grown man and ask him to do 50 push-ups, he's not going to do it. He's not. Most grown men can't do 50 push-ups, right? But I can take a child and really push a child to knock out 50, and a child will get there just on willpower.
Wow.
Children have a weird access to willpower that's connected to their desire purely to win. Not even to beat somebody, but just to be successful, just to accomplish it, right? And one of the things that we find a lot of times, our children aren't challenged enough. And that's actually related to a lot of the behavioral problems that we find in many of like the public school and even charter school environments, right? Charter school are different, functionally public schools in a lot of ways. Is that they're just not being challenged enough. Right? That they're not being challenged. There's no reason that we can't challenge our young people to do more, because when they're young, they have the energy, they have the wit, they have the instinct, right? To really get so much more done than what is being put in front of them, right?
In a short amount of time. And they won't break. I learned it. I'm like, he won't break.
They won't break. They won't break.
Let's take a call, and then we're going to wrap up. You're on.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling.
Yes, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
It's Sister Amina Muhammad. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Sister Amina?
Awesome show. I'm so excited over here. I just want to congratulate you, Sister Charlene, and big brother. Yes, and brother Charlene and the students. I'm just so excited about the school. I just love everything that, all the programs, all the things that you all are. The programs, the different things that you're doing with the students, is just so exciting. I want to encourage all of the mothers and grandmothers and parents that are listening to
to inquire about the MUI, to get involved in the parents at the mosque, get involved with the school and to help and assist and bring your children. You know, you don't have to worry about your children being abused or misused or neglected, because I do believe, Brother Salih, you have a principle that no child is left behind. Is that correct?
No child is going to be left behind. That's true.
As you can see from Camp Muhammad, we're going to play that video one more time. Sister Amina, thank you so much. And as we cue up Camp Muhammad again, Sister Amina is this is a family affair too,
right.
because
that's mom. She's
this is
mom-in-law.
his mother-in-law. Yeah, and Sister Amina has long been interested in the education of children. I think you said one more. We have another call. Oh, okay, great. I want to play Camp Muhammad again. Sister Amina, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's play Camp Muhammad again, and then we're just going to get a greetings.
Okay.
So I'm like, I like that video.
So we took a bunch of students from South Central, Compton, Long Beach, and Oakland to the mountains. The first day we got there, some white people in the cabin next door to our camp hung up a noose. This was to put fear in children as young as 6, but it served as a reminder of why we're up here. Black excellence. It's only excellence. But when you add the word black, that means an unnatural amount of resistance, opposition, opposing forces that either make you or break you. It's like we live on the defense. But what if we made a generation that knew that they were great? I'm talking unapologetically black, constantly training and conditioning themselves to meet and overcome all obstacles in their path. With an understanding of money, power, love, and unity. Oh yeah, we made them take that news down.
I love that logo. Brother Salih, how can people get in contact with you? And then we're out.
You can reach us at muhammaduniversityla@gmail.com.
All right. That's our show for today. Thank you so much to MUI, Brother Salih, Brother Jamil, Brother Mustafa, Brother James, and Brother Dorian. Contact them, please. I'm Sister Charlene Muhammad. Also, thank you to Sister Felicia, the Poetess Morris, right here at Morris Media Studios. If it's impacting our community or can uplift us as a people, let's talk about it. Peace.